Ready?
Yeah.
Camera rolling.
Let's do this.
And 3, 2, 1, action!
Hey, Shibloooohoo!
Yo, guys. Welcome to the Shabloo podcast, where we talk about anything and everything because
Shibloooohoo.
Now, you're probably wondering what the heck does Shabloo mean? And oh crap, we didn't even ask if we can from permission from him if we can say it. But we'll just say it anyways and we'll ask him later.
Yeah.
The origin story. You want to tell him what it is, Devante?
So we have a friend named Saturday. If you're close to us, I'm sure you know him. He's an awesome guy. And basically, are you really allowed to tell the story?
Okay, you know what? It's pretty much just our version of YOLO.
Yeah.
And we have like Devante and I have had a lot of made up words in the past like 3 years we've known each other. And Shabloo is one of the ones that like has stuck. Like all the other ones we have like phases, right? But Shabloo has been like probably like 2 years going on, you know.
Yeah.
So like shiblootoohoo. It's just like YOLO. So you can try saying it right now.
Shibloooohoo.
It's shiblootoohoo. And you can use it in so many different ways, right? Like,
You know, just like making ramen. Oh, crap, I dropped it. Shibloooohoo. I don't know, maybe.
like,
You might use it like that.
Dude, should we go to Krispy Kreme? Shiblootoohoo. Or that's like a, maybe? Or shiblootoohoo. Like, fuck yeah, let's go. Yeah. Here we are on the Shabloo podcast. We've never done this before. We've been wanting to do a podcast for like probably 2 years now.
Yeah.
Right? And shout out to Joseph Lay, our homie, for letting us borrow these fancy
Joe, you're the
mics.
man.
We did a mic test with lav mics yesterday. Maybe I'll upload that video. Devante was like trying to use the lav mics and it was hilarious.
They're kind of complicated.
Yeah, they're pretty complicated. I don't know how to use those. But should we just like say who we are briefly?
Yeah. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Oh, dang. I've been saying your name. I haven't even introduced myself. Shibloooohoo. Yo, my name is Brandon Lee. I am 24 years old, and I am from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Aspiring actor, former stunt performer. Did Taekwondo my whole life. Yeah, my personality type is an ENFJ. What's my star sign again? Oh, like an Aries. And fun fact, this was Devante's idea.
Oh yeah,
fun fact. I feel like I'm in like 5th grade class again. We're like all introducing ourselves. Fun fact about me is I have a freckle on my right eye. If you can see it from this far, if you're watching the video.
We'll zoom in later.
Shibloooohoo. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Hey. So I'm Devante. I am 26 years old. I'm from North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. And my, what's it called? The personality type? Yeah. Mine is also the same, which I don't even remember what it is, but I'm a protagonist and...
profession.
My profession, stunt performer. I've been doing martial arts for a long time, since I was 12 years old. My star sign is I'm a Cancer.
Yeah.
Not sensitive though. Nah, that's not me.
Not sensitive.
Not sensitive.
Only,
okay, maybe a little bit.
only
Maybe
sometimes
just sometimes.
When like you spill, like when you're cooking bacon and you...
Yeah.
Okay, that was probably too loud. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Hey, it's manly though, you know?
It's man stuff.
For those of you at home, when you make bacon, you gotta cook without a shirt on. You gotta do it. Makes you more of a man. Facts.
So, yeah, Devante and I have been homies for probably like 3 years now, and roommates for like two and a half, around there. We met at a Joining All movement at Jam, and right away we just hit it off because like there's very few like people that come from the same background, and like he's been doing Taekwondo pretty much his whole life. I have too. We both were tricking, and so we were like, yo, and then yeah, like just hit it off. So we wanted to, and we're always like having conversations like 24/7, just like till like 4 a.m. Like, we can just talk forever. So we're just like, screw it. Why don't we just start a podcast? But we have questions for each other, even though we know each other very, very well. Like, I pretty much tell you everything. And I feel like vice versa. Like, we tell each other stuff that we were like, dude, I've never told anyone this before. You know?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. We have questions for each other that we didn't let each other know. And we're just going to shoot the shit. I started using that term because he texted me that when I was in New Orleans. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then I like...
oh, yeah.
And then I Googled it. Because I'm just like...
You never heard that one?
No. Like, I heard it, but I never knew what it meant. I was like, shoot the shit. Is that, like, bad? And then I looked it up, and you're just like... It was funny. It was like, it's just, like, casually talking.
Yeah.
But, like, when you said that, I was like, yo, did something happen? You, like, texted me. He's like, oh, no, man. Are you free right now? I'm like, oh, no, not really. And he's like, oh, I just wanted to shoot the shit. I was like, oh fuck. Is this something?
I'm going through some shit, man. I gotta shoot it.
Literally shoot it like you got a freaking Nerf gun. You got like, you got like shit bullets. God damn it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I guess this is unfiltered now. Because I've sworn a lot at this point. I feel like you've been
Shabloo.
Yeah, there you go. Shabloo. You know why we should swear? Because shiblootoohoo.
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 Know what I'm saying?
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got here? I'm like...
Okay.
What we got here, man?
We'll start off simple. What's your favorite childhood memory?
My favorite childhood memory? Dang. Like with the most... That was most joyful childhood memory?
Yeah.
Okay. Dang.
Or it could be actually anything.
Oh, I think when we got our dog Silver. I was like 6 years old and we got a little Cocker Spaniel and it was like raining all day. Yeah, I remember like driving over there and like seeing a bunch of little puppies and like me and my whole family like picked Silver. He was like the only silver Cocker Spaniel out of like all of these other like golden ones. And he was like, we were like looking at their personality. It's crazy. You can even see personality in like dogs when they're puppies. There was ones that were bullies, but he was the one that was always like not hiding, but just like he was strong. He's like alpha, but he wasn't just bullying people to bully people.
Oh.
You know? So we were like, yes, that one. Like we all thought that one. And I remember like, yes, we finally have a dog. Because I was like begging my parents for like forever. And my mom like hates animals. So like we finally got it and I was like the happiest kid ever.
Oh my God.
But I'm going to flip it on you.
Oh,
you?
okay.
What's your favorite?
I'm going to say my favorite childhood memory was...
What?
Okay. Why this is my favorite, I can't say. I just remember it like it was yesterday, and I'll never forget this. I really like going to this like fun kiddie amusement park place.
Okay.
It's called Adventure Landing. It's in North Carolina.
Is it only exclusive to North Carolina?
I'm not sure, but I think so. I haven't seen any over here.
Yeah.
I was there with my family, and we were riding the go-karts, right? And like this is like at the time when like I had just like reached the height requirement to like actually like be able to like drive my own, because I would always have to sit in the passenger seat, right?
Dude, that was the worst.
But yeah, I like got my own go-kart and I was driving it. And I was loving it, right? Like I was racing against my family. I was going like really fast. Like I didn't believe in like pressing the brakes or anything. So I was just like going really fast, came around this turn and like I got spun around, right? And like I ran into a wall. And you know how like go-karts don't have like the reverse option? Like you can't back up in them?
Yeah.
One of the workers had to like pull me out of the corner and like readjust me. But like I was like when he was pulling me out to like so I could like start going again. I was so ready to go that I just like stomped on the gas. Like,
wait, when he was like still there?
Well, he was still there.
Run him over?
Like, dude, I was so close. I was so close to running him over.
Like, fuck you, let me out of here.
And like my mom saw it, and like after the race, she was like, Devante, like why'd you like nearly run over that guy? And I was like, I don't know. I just wanted to win the race. Like
you were like.
Shiblootoohoo. I mean, I didn't hit him though, so you know, thank God. But
it's all good. Wait, how old were you around that time?
I must have been like 7 or 8, somewhere in there.
Damn.
Like, I was really young.
It's crazy that like, damn, I picked 6, you picked like 7 and 8, like that long ago that it's like still so vivid, right? Like certain memories. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But then I can't even remember what I ate for lunch yesterday.
Same. No idea.
Dude, that's crazy.
But yeah, that guy, you know, that I almost ran over. If you're out there, I'm sorry. I really mean it.
I bet that dudes run into that a lot though too.
Yeah.
Especially kids that like finally hit the height requirement. Dude, like for me, like for rides or like anything, when you finally hit the height requirement, I was just like, thought I was the coolest person ever. I'm like, I'm an adult now. Okay. So you just asked a question.
Yeah,
right?
now it's your turn.
Now I'll ask one. All right. That one was pretty spicy, by the way. I feel like we've talked a little bit about our childhoods with each other, but not like specific like that, you know? Mm-hmm. Okay. For you, what do you think people misunderstand about you the most?
What do people misunderstand about me? I'm gonna have to say that. Okay. I'm just gonna say this. I've been doing like Taekwondo like since I was 12, and like tricking from same age actually. I started both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
So now that I'm like going more into like a new career, which is stunts, and like you have to like be skilled at like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I feel like people see me as just a tricker and a martial artist.
Dude.
Even
yeah,
though
I feel you.
like okay, on my Instagram I might post like my tricking videos because
Yeah.
you know that's like I'm gonna say like the highlight of like my training, right?
And that was like your first like really like your best craft at the time.
Yeah.
Like you really trained a long time at that.
But nowadays, like I just trick for fun. Like
Yeah.
most of my training is like other stuff, like boxing and
Yeah.
tactical stuff, weapons, driving, like,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But people will still see you as that.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you feel like too that you have to be as good as you were like back then too? Sometimes
Yeah,
like,
it's
you go to like
weird,
open
man.
gym and like people like recognize you, you know, from like your Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, and sometimes that happens to me, and I'm like, dude, I remember I have posts of me throwing moves that like I wouldn't dare to try now. And like,
real.
is this dude like expecting me to be able to do that? Because I see stars right now every time I jump and spin, bro. But dude, you landed dub yesterday.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
crazy, bro.
That was, I don't know how that happened. I was just feeling it, I guess. But triple cork though, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I would.
Bro, you're shiblootoohoo. I feel like you would be able to do triple cork too.
Ah, thanks, man. I'd have to work on it.
There it is.
Oh.
There it is. There it is.
Well,
Okay, that was not a sexual noise. It's a this is something. If you know me and Devante, we do this. It's similar to like the oh yeah,
yeah.
but just the huh, and like again, it's another made up word that you can just use. It's more like a sound effect, right? You can
Yeah,
use whenever, but like we text it to each other too.
we do. You know,
But you want to tell them where it started from?
okay. When I say home, I'm not thinking of it sexually. I'm thinking like of this one time when I used to teach martial arts, and I had this one kid, right? This one student that was just like, like,
What if this kid's watching this right now? Dude?
you know who you are. If you're watching this, you know who you are. And I'm gonna tell the story to everybody, but I won't say your name, so you're welcome. But yeah, there's this one kid that just like never wanted to like do anything in class because like I think like his mom wanted him to like get his black belt, but he just like wasn't having it.
Yeah.
And like whenever like it was time for class, to be like, hey, it's time to go to class. Like, come on.
Yeah.
He would just be like, oh, and he'll just like start walking like with his shoulders down and just like so sad.
Yeah.
But like anytime I asked him to do anything, like he would just say that.
Yeah. Oh. But there's this word too. You can use it in so many different ways. Like that kid was using it as like, oh, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? But like we use it as like, huh? Like, really? Sometimes?
Yeah.
You know? Or like we're hyped about something like, huh? like when we're tricking, Like every time we see one of us do like a cool move or see anyone do a cool move, I swear it always like, oh, that was so good. People are just like, what? But nobody questions it, surprisingly.
This is true.
Like we'll do it in public.
I kind of wonder what people think when they hear it.
Like we'll just say it and nobody says anything. It's the funniest thing, man. Like it's crazy how much you can get away with just like saying like really random stuff, but people just won't question it if you say it with full confidence.
Yeah.
You know? Like I'm pretty sure we say shiblootoohoo all the time in public too, and nobody really questions it. I think only a couple people have really actually brought it up. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they just jump in on it too, or we get people to start saying it. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Okay. Is it your turn?
Yeah, I think so. What's the best compliment you've ever gotten?
The best compliment I've ever gotten. Oh dang, I've voice cracked. Dang, if Terrell was here right now, he'd roast me. Every time my voice cracked, dude, I swear I'm still going through puberty. I'm like, and then he'll just imitate it. I'd be like, man, shut up. I'm grown up now.
I'm an adult.
Yeah, if you guys can't tell, I'm pretty sure I have like ADHD because I like my mind spins off to a different like just area all the time. So get prepared to get random. But fuck, what was the question again?
What was your favorite compliment?
Yeah, my favorite compliment, like just ever.
Yeah, ever.
Oh, actually, this is one of them. And I never saw myself as this, but people tell me sometimes, like, you're a good friend. And I'd be like, really? And they'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, aw, thanks, man. Because, like, you know, people that you care about the most, at least for me, I don't care about many people's opinions, or I try not to. I feel like we all do to an extent.
Yeah.
But I try to live in a way where I just be me unapologetically. But the thing about me is I feel like it balances out because the people I really care about their opinion like so much. Like you've seen it like affect me a lot. Like even the smallest things sometimes, like I'm extra sensitive for positive things and negative things that happen with people that I really care about. So like when people tell me that, I'm like, oh, thank you. But
That's a really good one because I feel like I actually do say that a lot.
Yeah,
you really are, man. Like,
thanks, man. Right back at you, bro. Things are getting bromantic here.
Single tear.
Double tear. Had to one up you there.
Triple tear.
Triple tear.
So, yeah.
What?
What's the next question?
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. So, one thing that I learned about Devante is he's the best listener in the entire world. Like, you can be talking about watching paint dry and he will sit there and make eye contact with you and smile and nod the whole time and make you feel like you're being listened to. And like that is such a hard skill, man. Like, and ever since living with him, I feel like I've become a better listener. I'm always someone that like talks all the time, but I also love to learn. And so sometimes my personality of like talking too much gets in the way of like consuming. But you're always someone that's just like, you're just there, just consuming all the time, just listening, you know? So my question is, why do you feel like you've become a good listener? Like, do you think it's something from childhood, the way you were raised? Is there a certain story behind it? Perspective of life? Whatever, you know?
That's a good question. And the reason why I try to focus on that is because I had a teacher in 5th grade. Her name is Miss Whitley. And she was probably one of the most impactful teachers I've ever had in school. Mm-hmm. No, actually, in school, she was definitely the most impactful teacher to me. Mm-hmm.
What did she teach?
She was, since it was 5th grade, she taught everything.
Oh, like a homeroom teacher?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she was just a really good teacher. And she had this one saying that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You should listen twice as much as you talk, because whenever you're talking, you're not learning anything.
Yeah.
And my philosophy on life is I want to be as wise as I can possibly become as young as possible. And I feel like a good way to do that is to just listen to the stories of others and just take in as much as you can.
Dang, man, that's crazy. See, this is crazy. Like I feel like I thought I knew everything about you. I never knew that. That's crazy. That's dope, man.
Oh, thank you, bro.
That's crazy. I also like what made me think while you're talking about that too, though, is like me being someone that talks a lot. I actually sometimes I learn more by talking.
Yeah.
When conversing like how we are right now, like when it's just stuck in my mind, it doesn't come alive, you know? And I feel like in a way, that's why I'm someone that wants to pursue acting. That's why I'm an actor, is because my most natural form is expressing all the time, you know? But I feel like that our conversations, we're always like learning as we're talking, like picking each other's brains as we're putting it out there. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. The thing about you is like when you're talking, you can break things down into a way where like, oh my God, like I never thought about it that way. Or like, this is like so simple. Like, why have I not like seen it like that before, you know?
Really?
Like, yeah. I feel like because like I hear a lot of things, I have like a lot of ideas in my mind, but there's the connections between them aren't there yet, you know?
Yeah.
So hearing you talk, I'm like, oh, this can connect to that. This is kind of like that. So I feel like I learn a lot whenever you're talking.
I never knew that you thought that way, man. That's crazy. Dang. I feel like the reason why I have to do that, though, is for me, like I just don't understand things unless if I dumb it down. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's why in school, I know like Tony Robbins talked about this in the past. Like the problem with a lot of what they teach in school is they'll teach you vocab words, right? Like something you need to learn. And they'll teach you with things that you don't know. Like the definition, you won't even know those words. And it's like, why not just dumb it down to stuff that we already know? How are you supposed to, like, that's how I felt in school. I always felt like so behind because I didn't know like what the definitions were. I didn't know where to start. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know what to relate it to because like that was, it's not dumbed down enough for me, you know?
Yes.
That's why like, I mean, you and I, we both taught Taekwondo for like a really long time. And I feel like for us to get to where we are at and like our skill sets, I feel like both of us are generally like pretty slow learners at first, but then when it clicks like crazy, right? But because we know what it takes to like learn things to a certain level, like we are able to dumb it down because we know when you don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So you just try to make it as easy as possible for your student to learn, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important because like if you're one of those really like intelligent people out there, oftentimes like you're gonna say things in such a way that
people don't understand.
People don't get what you're saying. And I think like the true value in like sharing things is like the effect that it has on someone else.
Yeah.
If you're using all this jargon and all these big words and all these concepts that people don't know, like, are you really helping the other person?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I think is better to focus on, the actual impact that you're making.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, we're kind of like going off on this subject, but it's just sparking more. Do you feel like in the past, this is what happens to me a lot, is like, I'll be having a conversation with someone and if they say something like I don't know, like especially if it's in a group setting and I don't know it and everyone else knows what they're talking about, in the past, because I cared so much about what other people thought, I would just like, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I have no fucking clue what they're saying. But now, because I live life in a perspective that I'm like, dude, if I don't know, I don't know. And why do I care about people's opinions when that's an opportunity to learn? Yes. I'll ask a quote unquote dumb question. You know what I mean? Like, do you do that too? I feel like
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But situationally, though, situationally. Like,
Yeah.
there's some situations where, like, okay, I probably shouldn't act like I don't know what they're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And in that situation, I'll just take a note, look it up when I get home.
Yeah.
But more often than not, I'll do what you're talking about.
Yeah. To learn, if it's just like casual conversation, but like if you're on a time restraint or like whatever, like it's always situational with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. Dang, I learned a lot just now. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
Did I just ask a question or did you?
I think you did. What was the question?
Well, why do you feel like you became such a good listener?
Yeah.
And then that just like just kept going up.
Okay. I think it's time for me to ask you a question now, right?
Shiblootoohoo, whatever you want to do. I can ask another one too.
Do you have a reason why you think it's important to be a good listener?
Yeah, I feel like just like what you were saying is like we have that, dude. I'm gonna remember that now. That was such a light bulb. What your 5th grade teacher said is like, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and I need to remind myself that because I talk more than I listen sometimes. I feel like it's really important because, especially in the past year, I feel like I've made it an extra like intention to listen more because I noticed in acting that is just as important as your expression. Because, like when the camera's it's always the camera's still on you even when you're not talking. So if you're not actively listening, it's just like it's unrealistic, Unless if it's tailored to the character. Damn, I'm getting really nerdy about acting now. But I just noticed like that's just so important. And just with everything in life, like looking back on certain experiences that I was so worried about proving myself or just talking. And, I feel like sometimes it was an insecurity to show and express and talk more rather than listen to what the actual situation is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's something that you're really, really good at. I noticed like a lot of times Devante and I will talk about like certain, like an open gym session or like whatever, even like talking to like a cashier or whatever. And Devante will be able to analyze the situation at a completely different level than I would have thought of a lot of times. Cause he's so good at picking up people's personalities because you're such a good listener, I've noticed like since I've tried to do that more, I've actually been able to learn so much more that way. I feel like it's really important because when you're always talking, like, you're not learning a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of times you aren't. And it's really easy to think that the world is just against you all the time because you're talking all the time. But if you really listen and look at the situation, dude, there's billions and billions of people in this world. Like, you're not that important, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you ever feel like something happens in your life and you're like, oh my gosh, everyone hates me, this and that. It's like, dude, get over yourself. Like, you're not that important. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's a balance of telling yourself that, but also like not like shooting yourself in the foot, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And again, I just go on tangents because that's just how I am.
But this is good. What I like it though about like when you talk is that like you can make connections between like one thing to another, right? But you can really break things down into a level where it's like, oh wow, like this is deep. Like one single concept, you can like break it down to a point where like you understand it on like a whole new level after hearing you talk about it.
That's because of, I feel like something that we always say, and then I think you were the first one to say it, was like, everything's connected, bro. But for real, man.
This is true.
That changed my whole perspective. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, I've told you this, but like for real, it's changed my life like crazy because I'm so goal oriented that sometimes I like stop. If it doesn't have to do with my goal, then I won't even like, I'll just be blinded to like everything else. But actually, when everything's connected, you can apply anything to anything, you know? And I feel like that's just like made the world more of a library for me, you know? And I feel like that's just a way to live a lot happier because then you see the little things in everything. and then you're grateful for the little things and everything. And then you're not complaining about, traffic in LA, or like, I spilled my water on my shirt. Oh, now there's a stain, even though water can't stain shirts. But that was a bad example. Maybe ketchup. You know? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's something everything's connected.
Everything's connected.
I feel like we say that to each other a lot.
Yes.
We'll have like conversations like how we're having right now, and we'll both be like,
you know, I think that's why we make such good friends, because we each have like one side of the equation, you know?
Yeah.
And I believe like in life, you can go two directions. Mm-hmm. You can go directly out, like let's say, tricking, right? Let's talk about tricking. So there's an idea. You can focus on one area, like kicks, for example. Mm-hmm. Your kicks, I think you have like some of the best kicks in the world, dude. I'm not even saying that just because you're my friend, but
man, right back at you. That's how we bonded, bro.
Dude, thank you, man. Thank you.
Kicks and we're like,
So like you can like take like the direct approach, like, you know, like I think the way, you know, you said earlier, the way you think is like focus, go straight like towards your goal, right? Mm-hmm. But also there's the other side, which is like everything's connected, you know. Yeah. You can move outwards, like, you know, in a circle. Yeah. So like in tricking, that would be like learning a bunch of different tricks. Yeah. And I think there's value in both. Yeah. Like, sure. You know, because every situation you go to, it's going to be a different atmosphere, you know, like a different value system. Yeah. Like if you're like really good at kicks in one place, but you go to this other place and then, you know, kicks aren't as valuable, then like you'll feel like, oh, like it's hard to put this into words, like, you know, in that place you might not feel as confident, as valuable. I just had this situation where I went on a movie where I wasn't doing any kicking at all. Like I was just punching a lot. Yeah. And I felt like, wow.
Big movie, by the way, like huge movie, but we can't say it, but fucking huge movie.
Like, yeah, like in there I felt like, wow, like maybe I should have spent more time on other things. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if I didn't have that understanding about like one thing, then I wouldn't understand how to get that far in another thing. Yeah. So I think, you know, it's good to have both.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, that made me think about like, cause I think I always like you said, my perspective is like I tunnel vision on one thing and I get really good at one thing because I'm so focused on that one thing. And something that I've run into, kind of like what you were saying before of like what do people misunderstand about you the most? It's like people like to label you as something because they see you good at one thing, right? So for me, you know this about me, like I did stunts and I worked much more professionally in stunts before I did acting, and like I've always been worried about is being labeled as a stunt performer. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just for me, I'm not as passionate about like all of the other stunts. Like I wouldn't even call myself a stunt performer, like an action performer. Yeah. You know, like I like action, I like fight scenes, but there's so much more to it. There's fires, there's driving, there's guns, like you're doing all that. And I'm like, hell no, I don't want to do that. That's terrifying to me, you know? Like that, it's just like, for me, I feel disrespectful to the craft if I don't learn all those things and call myself a stunt performer, you know? So, and for me, it's always the storytelling, the expression that I love. Like something that I've always tried to like suppress like my credits and stunts sometimes because I think people label me as that. Because I've heard that from mentors to not put that on your resume sometimes. But I've also heard the other perspective of pretty much what you were saying is like when people see that you're at such a high level at one thing, they know you have the potential, if they see your talent like going on the come up, to be able to get that good at the other thing too, you know? Like some of my acting coaches like Jenna, shout out to Jenna, and Annie Chang, they told me that too, like you should put that on your resume because when they see that you were that successful in one thing, they know that you're able to get to that level on another thing too. But you know, that's not the case for everyone. Some people might label you, some people might not. But like, I'm trying to change my perspective to like, if people label me as that and they don't see me as anything else, then I don't want to work with them anyways, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we're not, us as human beings, we're not just one thing. Every single person in this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people label you like that, it's like, okay, bro, thanks for not seeing me as a human being. Like, you're seeing me as an attack robot or like a kicking robot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of just a little rant or whatever. But
That's what this is for.
yeah, to let it all out. Whose turn is it? Is it my turn to ask a question?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. We're gonna say something?
I did just think of something that was kind of
related to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how related? I don't know, because like, you know, when everything's connected,
fuck it, shiblootoohoo.
You don't know what's connected.
Everything's connected.
What's related anymore. But anyways, something that I think that the world needs to hear is, and what needs to be talked about more is, whenever you're doing something new, like I don't know, new sport, new hobby, anything, you gotta have the courage to actually just do it and be bad at it at first, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, what makes them not want to go for their dreams or whatever goal they have is just they're afraid of the judgment of others, you know? And, you know, people are going to judge. Yeah. But at the end of the day, what's the worst they can do? Like, they might say, like let's say you're trying a new martial art. They might say, oh, your kicks suck or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Once upon a time, yours did too. So, who are you to judge me, you know? Yeah. For those of you out there that want to go for something, you have some goals, just go for it. Like, don't worry about sucking at it. Like, if you suck, it's cool. Like, just
shiblootoohoo.
Have the courage to go for it and do your best and just keep going. Mm-hmm. You'll get better.
Yeah. Dude, that's so true. Like, I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why you and I, like, clicked really, really quickly. Like, we felt like, I don't know about you, but I felt like you were like a long lost brother. You know, like we were like, dude, you do this too? I do this too. What? Like, and just like perspectives and values and all those things. But one of the ones that stood out the most at like open gym sessions is that we weren't afraid to look dumb or express like, get so hyped. Like, yeah, like just dumb stuff like that. Like, because screw it, you know? Like, that's just who we are. And if you think it's fake, then cool. Like something that when you were saying that, something that came to mind is you at the end of the day, as long as they're not physically harming you, you can decide whether or not it'll harm you emotionally or not. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, you can call me a dumb fuck, slut, bitch, whatever, all the bad words. Damn.
Rated R. This is rated R now.
You can call me whatever, man. Like, but sometimes, of course, it's gonna hurt you sometimes, you know? But I feel like that's like a muscle to be able to not give a fuck. And like you and me, I noticed we purposely put ourselves in situations to do that and to fully express and not give a fuck. And some people might see that as like trying to get attention or whatever, but it's not, because that's who we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Devante and I will just like, dude, remember when I'd be like, we'd be like getting food, for example, and I'd be like, yo, I'll pay for your meal if you ask the cashier in an anime voice.
Oh yeah.
Dude, how many free meals did you get from that?
Dude, a lot.
But like, you would do it, no hesitation. Like, and it's just funny. And then, you know, the cashier's laughing about it, and like their day of like the repetitive, like just doing stuff over and over again, and it's like a little spark in their life. Now they have a smile. Like there's little things like that when we're like unapologetically and genuinely and like organically ourselves, that like we're spreading good stuff into the world. And you never know, like, when someone's feeling really down and something you say might like bring them up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what I kind of hope for this podcast as well.
Yeah.
You know, is like, I feel like you and I, we have so many deep conversations like we're having right now, and we're learning so much, and I get a high off of it.
Dude,
you know,
me too.
It's more than what any energy drink can do. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, and I feel like it's too good to not share it. And whether people feel like that or not, the same way we do, I don't know. But if even one person out there feels like, you know, this energy that we're feeling and it's spreading through the podcast, then like, man, what else can you ask for? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, when you know you're putting good into the world, it's just like, what's more fulfilling than that, you know?
Yeah.
Because shiblootoohoo.
Shiblootoohoo. Shiblootoohoo. At the end of the day, everyone just wants love, man.
True.
We should be spreading it more.
Bro, you just... my brain just exploded. That's true. Like, I feel like, I mean, everyone's different, but that's probably one of the number one, like, human needs in general.
Yeah.
It probably is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the gift that keeps on giving, you know?
Yeah.
You can't have too much of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it my turn to ask you a question?
I don't know. Yeah?
I think you just asked me one. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. I'm just going to ask you a question.
I think you asked me. No. Fuck. I don't know. If you want to, you can...
Shabloo.
Were we still going off that one? I don't even know. But moving on.
Next shot.
Yeah. Next shot. Moving on.
Let me see. Okay.
Oh,
Being serious now.
Oh man, you're smiling at it. This is gonna be a deep question.
Why do you act?
Oh. I feel like I've said it a little bit already.
Yeah.
But for me, ever since I was a little kid, I've always been an entertainer, like, in my family. I've always, like, you know, I've loved to make people laugh and just perform, and maybe that's a little narcissistic, but I just love to do it, and I love to see people's reaction and see them happy. And for me, it's just the most comfortable thing. For me, I just love to be animated and express in all kinds of way through my body. You know, that's why I love to trick, love to do martial arts, anything with movement, you know. And more importantly, that's why we're starting this podcast. I like talking a lot too, you know what I mean? But I realized, man, like, for me, I don't feel like myself if I'm not performing in some way, performing or just expressing or whatever it is. Like, I've always needed that outlet. Like, dude, you know me, like, last week I'm just gonna say it on here. I got COVID last week, and it was on my very first, like, professional acting movie, and it's a big movie too, and I was so excited for it, and I couldn't shoot because I got COVID, and they had to shoot without me because my role wasn't too big, so they had to shoot around me, and I was just so, like, depressed because I was locked up, and because I was sick, I couldn't, like, really train. I couldn't let it out artistically very much. And I realized, like, that day, I did still go to acting class even though I felt really sick. And, like, I felt, like, revived, you know, rejuvenated. So that's for me personally, but most importantly, like what we were saying is, like, I want to make the world a better place when I leave it, you know? And I feel like one of the strongest forms of that is storytelling. Because for me, all my biggest influences were from, like, movies, you know, some type of story, TV show, whatever, like, you know, and how we were saying, if something I can do can motivate one person to, like, say fuck the norm of society and chase their dreams, then I would want them to do that, you know? Especially for me growing up in the Midwest suburbs where it's, you know, LA is super ambitious, so that's why I feel like I'm out here, but, like, out there, and there's nothing wrong with, I'm not judging this lifestyle, but, like, it was very, like, you know, you go to school, you get your degree, You know, you get a job, you get a 9 to 5, and that's very secure. And then you know, you can spend your free time however you want it. If that fulfills you, that's cool. But for me, like, I get bored of one thing really quickly, you know? And like, I've felt like I've been that kid my whole life, but I feel like the system suppressed me, you know? Like, didn't allow me to be who I was. It put me on a schedule. It made me learn things that I didn't want, that I didn't care about learning, you know? Because like how we were saying, I'm the type of person, if I'm passionate about something, I grind at it nonstop. It doesn't even feel like work, you know? But if I don't care about it, I put minimum effort. So I never had good grades in school, you know? Damn, that was such a long tangent. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just like, it's the most fulfilling way for me to express myself. And also I think the best platform for me to try to make the world a better place in some way, you know? And I feel like everyone does that in their own way, whether you're a firefighter or, you know, you're a cook or whatever it is, a painter, whatever it is, like, you're putting something into the world that's making it a better place. It's just finding what you're most passionate about. For me, that's what I think. But yeah, that was a long tangent. But thank you for that question. Hey, but to flip it on you, why do you do stunts? Why are you a stunt performer?
Well, you know, after hearing you say that,
Yeah.
I feel like this may be the reason why we're such close friends. This question right here is because I feel like this is our purpose.
Yeah.
What we do is our purpose.
Our calling and our purpose, like why we're in this world, right?
And I feel
you
like
just feel that. You just feel it, right? There's no other words you can put on it but a feeling. But sorry, continue.
Yeah.
I talk too much. Fuck.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. There's no like. We have like similar paths in that sense, like in what we want to do in the world, even though we may not be doing the exact same things.
Yeah.
The reason why we're doing what we do is the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started off teaching martial arts, and then the reason why I did that, I thought that was my calling, and I really wanted to. I really want to go back to that one day. Actually, like I really do want to teach people. After realizing that I could possibly do that on a bigger scale through stunts, I went for it. I feel like growing up, there wasn't a lot. I mean, there was some, but there wasn't a whole lot of like, you know, super like successful, positive role models around me. Like there wasn't like people, you know, that looked like me that were doing big things in the world. And because of that, I felt like it might not have been possible because I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
But after coming to California and going to places like Jam where there's tons of people that are like really successful, I'm like, holy cow, like maybe I do have a shot. So I want to be that person for somebody else. I want to be on the screen, and you know, when some kid sees me, they say, wow, that's cool. I want to be like that one day. And you know, when I go out places or I'm training, I wanna be the person that, you know, able to show people that yes, you can do it too, and I want to be able to help them and show them, you know, guide them like however I can. So yeah, at the end of the day, I just wanna be that person that others were for me, like people like Aaron Toney. Shout out AT. Mentor G Alexander, Sham. You know, all these positive, successful people. I just want to be a person that can give back like they gave to me. So,
damn, that's deep, man. Yeah. You know what also made me think is like our reasons for why we do it is very, very similar. Like we said, right? I noticed the subtle difference of like we're in the same industry, but we, you know, you do stunts and I act, and the subtle difference of why we do it is because of I feel like our personality types.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I'm much more like you're much more. You're really expressive too, but in a different way, and it's more through your body a lot at times. You know. And for me, yes, but more towards like, I don't know, like verbal expression and emotional expression. And it's all those things at the end of the day, but I feel like it's like just our instrument. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Our instrument's just slightly different.
Yeah.
Not that we can't use the other instrument.
It's true.
You know, but like that's the instrument that we're most comfortable and love the most and most passionate about, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, Shabloo, do you want to do one last question?
Yeah, we can do one more.
Dude, I realized this whole time I have these lights
Oh, yeah.
are not on. Yo, before
So many factors involved.
before I'm gonna double check if the camera's rolling because okay, thank God.
Your phone just died.
Dude, I would be so sad. I'd be so sad if her like first episode was a banger and it just wasn't rolling. Okay. Did you just ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, you did. Last question. I think this might be a little too similar to what I asked before, but I think you might have it. If you don't have a different answer, then I'll ask a different question. What is the best piece of advice you've ever heard or learned in your life? And like, who did you hear it from?
Best piece of advice.
Yeah. Whether it's like a value, like a perspective you live, like the listening thing, or like, what it could be whatever, you know?
Okay, so this one is from somebody that was a mentor to me for a very long time. They probably influenced me more than anyone else in this world directly. This is from my Taekwondo Master, Master David.
Yeah. Shout out Master David.
Shout out Master David. Wow. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna have to go in on like who Master David is another time because this man has done so much for me in my life. But basically, he was teaching me how to teach others, right? And I'm a nice guy. Like I like to influence people in positive ways. But I learned something from him. I learned that like one day when I was teaching, there's this one kid that was just like okay. We had these kids in North Carolina that were just like they were sent to us from their doctor because they were so bad, right?
Dude, same.
They're so bad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like these kids are like, they were just savages. And this one kid, like, he just like didn't listen to me. Like he was just so bad. He didn't care about anything I said, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, Master David, like how do I deal with this kid? Like, like I tried everything. Like I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah.
Because like I was always like, trying to be like, hey, don't do that. Like, trying to look out for like the good things he did, catch him doing something good. Like I did all that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working.
You were trying all the tools.
I was using all the compliment sandwich, all that.
Yeah, compliment sandwich. Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about with you with that. It's crazy.
Man, okay. One day, like, he just sat me down in his office and he was like, yeah, you gotta be good to good people. And sometimes you gotta be mean to the people that are mean to you. Because at the end of the day, like, it's not mean. It's just tough love.
Yeah.
Like, it comes from a good place.
Yeah, as long as it comes from a good place.
Yeah. As long as you're not just, like, doing something to harm him just for the sake of harming him, then you're helping. Because if you reward something that's bad, you're hurting him. Yeah. So that's how I learned that, you just got to treat people for how they are. Yeah. And not just try to be good all the time, Yeah. That's not actually helping.
I feel like in a way, like some people could misinterpret that as like, oh, I should be shitty to shitty people. And then it just like causes more conflict, right? But I feel like the reason why Devante is saying this is because this dude literally sees the best in everything. I mean, literally everything. Like the shittiest, most terrible, most unfortunate, like situations where someone does you so wrong and you still find the positive in it. And so I feel like someone like Devante that's so positive minded, you need to balance that out sometimes. And like maybe that's why that stuck with you, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, us as people, we need to hear advice that balances our personality out. You know, where it was like me learning from you to be a better listener because I talked like that balanced me out a little bit, a little bit, you know. But it's definitely like made a positive impact on my life. But yeah, no, I could definitely see that as like, and it's kind of like tailoring how you teach certain people based on their values too, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what that is?
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
You have to approach them as for who they are, not just as like a peg in a machine. Like
Exactly.
they're their own person. You have to approach them like that.
Yeah. Like that kid, maybe, I don't know him, but like maybe that kid, there's a reason why, you know, that he was the way he was, you know, and then like maybe that's his way of communication is like through tough love. Yeah. Stuff like that. That's the only way. That's his language. That's his only way to learn. And if you're teaching him in a different way, he's never going to learn.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really got to know them. Like you got to know exactly what they need in order to help them.
One size does not fit all, man. I feel like that's like one of the biggest things that like I've learned in this past like year with art. You know, you've heard me rant about it so many times where like I realized I think it's true for everything and especially art where you need to be free. It's not just one size fits all, but I feel like most teaching methods in the world, they teach it one way. It's like closed-minded to one way. And that doesn't, I'm not trying to discredit, like there's a difference between needing to learn a foundation and basics versus once you get to a point, I feel like you gotta let people learn their own way and express their own way. And someone could think that a piece of shit looks awesome, and you can't tell them if they genuinely believe that a piece of shit looks awesome. You can't tell them not, no matter how many facts you give them or the science behind it or whatever. Like that's what I feel like people are too judgmental in this world. Like, no, this because of that. Like, dude, that's that person's opinion. Leave them alone.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
What if, you know, and then the other end of it, then they're judging the other person's point of view. It's like, then it's just, the whole world is just like this all the time. And it's like, why? Just let people be people.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I feel like that kind of goes back to like what we were talking about of like, at the end of the day, you can let people's opinions affect you or not, you know?
I'm going to ask you the same question though.
Oh, shit. Okay. I was about to end it, but okay, we can go.
I want to know your answer.
Okay.
Last one.
Okay.
So I don't remember how you worded it, but it was something about what was something that really good piece of advice?
Best piece of advice you've heard.
Best piece of advice.
Yeah. I named 2 of them already from you.
I'm gonna need one more though.
I think one of them was just like it was from multiple people. Dang, I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. I know you know this story. So, for the movie Shang-Chi, I was fortunate enough to be a stunt performer on there. And I was selected when I was only like a few months into stunts. I was so new. I was just so new, and there's so many little things that I just didn't pick up on. And like, it's like a white belt getting thrown into a black belt class and it's like, good luck. Or like throwing a kid into the ocean and like, be like, good luck, learn to swim. Like, and sometimes that's the best way to learn, you know? I think that was the best way for me to learn. But at the end of the day, when I was there, I couldn't keep up, you know? I at first threw myself so many excuses of like, because when I got there, you know, the whole stunt team had already been there for 3 months, pre-vising and rehearsing, and they were all Chinese. And I go there as a Korean dude, and I'm Asian, and they look at me, and in the heat of the moment, they speak Chinese to me, and I'm like, dude, I don't understand you, you know? Like, and there were so many excuses that I was for a long time. I let the excuses, like, I used them as like a blanket, you know? But the best piece of advice I heard from like, I asked every single coordinator before. So I was there from like January until like COVID hit in 2020. And then everyone got sent home, but I stayed home when they started shooting again, you know, started production again. I knew I was going to be sent home and stay home. So I asked every single coordinator, what is something that I can work on? And at the time I was so tailored to like the art or the craft of it, you know, because I'm a Taekwondo guy. I always thought that they were always going to say, it's punching, you know, you got to do more boxing. That's what I was listening to people before I left to Shang-Chi. I was just doing a bunch of boxing, you know, and I wasn't actually filming, but I was just boxing because I was like, I need to work on my hands because my hands suck because I'm a Taekwondo guy. And I was expecting them all to say that because they would hint at that sometimes when we were rehearsing, like my hands just weren't as coordinated as my feet. But they all said, no, you're putting in a lot of effort. You're a good dude. It's just experience. And I'm like, okay, so is that something that I need to take more boxing classes or more martial arts? And they were just like, no, dude, you just need experience. Like you just need to pick up the camera, whether it's your iPhone, whether it's your fancy ass red camera or whatever, pick it up and shoot, you know? And then that's when I came back here and then you were just getting in the stunts. And dude, we shot on tripods like every morning. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was the biggest masterclass of like, just do it, you know? And that's the reason why like we're starting this podcast is like, I feel like both you and I, we kind of, like that was the best piece of advice is just do it, like Nike. Just do it, you know?
Just do it.
This like that's the best way to learn. And I feel like we've talked about this in the past, but I feel like sometimes the more you learn, the harder it is to just do it. Because now you know more and now you're more of a perfectionist towards that craft. And a lot of times it stops you from actually taking action. At least for me, that's what's been happening. And I've always wanted to start a podcast, but I'm like, it's not related to acting. So no, it's going to waste my time. I'm like, dude, just do it. Fuck it. You know, like I'm having so much fun right now doing this. I was so lit up the past couple of days that Devante and I were talking about finally doing this. Like, it was the reason why I got up early this morning, you know? Mm-hmm. And acting does that most days, but some days it's not gonna. And some days I gotta have other passions like this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like so many people, like, they get so worried about what if this happens, what if this happens, what if this happens, and they don't just shut up and just go do it. And in a way, I feel like you almost need a ego check because some people are like scared of success a lot of times, right? Like I've run into this in the past. Like I don't want to get typecasted as the kick Taekwondo guy or whatever. But I'm like, who am I to think that I'm gonna even get to a level to be typecasted as that? Mm-hmm. When I'm in this position right now. So like, I guess that's my question to some people, to humble some people too, is like, who are you to think that you're going to even get to that level when you haven't put in the work to even take one step out of a million to get to that point? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that to discourage people, but in a way, if you're not taking action and those are the reasons why, then like, who are you to think that, you know? Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, you know, you got to enjoy every single step. And I feel like it's so easy to be only wanting the outcome. But it's like, what's the point of the outcome if you're not enjoying the journey? Mm-hmm. I see it as like, you know, like when you play video games, you ever get the cheat codes? Yeah. And when you do the cheat codes, the game's so fun for like maybe a day or two. But that's it. It's only fun for a day or two. Because now you're bored and you have everything, you know? Mm-hmm. Versus when you grind the game out the whole way through and you grind the journey and you know when you get to that point, you know the work and the time you've put to get to that point and you have so much more fun. Yes. You know? That was such a long tangent. That's why I was afraid analogy. When you asked me a question. I was like, damn it, I'm going to go for another like 5 hours on one question because I talk so freaking much.
Dude, that's great though. Like, man, that was really real that you said that because I feel like a lot of people just want to like protect their image, you know? Yeah. And they try to keep things like that under wraps. And like, if things like this, if something like that happened to you and you learn from it, that's something that everybody can learn from. Yeah. And I've been through situations like that too. Mm-hmm. I want to share. Do we have time?
Go for it. Screw it, man.
All right. Well, okay. Similar situation. Got thrown into the deep end. I was on a boxing movie, as I just said before. I thought I knew how to box really well, but apparently I didn't. I was just all right. I mean, I was able to like keep up and stuff for the most part, but in terms of like how much I actually like felt like I could contribute, I felt like I wasn't able to like help out as much as I would like. And that taught me that, yeah, I should just, you know, it's cool that I like do these like two things, like I do like tricking and my Taekwondo, but like it's time to like branch out and like see more of the world and like do more things.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like, you know, if you just stick to what you're good at, what's gonna happen when you're not in that situation, you know?
Yeah.
When you're doing something you've never experienced before.
Yeah.
Like most people, like not most people, a lot of people, they do what they're comfortable with and they want to feel good all the time.
Yeah.
But you know, you gotta check yourself sometimes. You gotta put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You gotta keep finding new ways to grow. Because if you just stay in this little area of life and your world is this small and this is what you do, then
that's all you're gonna learn.
You're gonna miss out on the beauty of life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
yeah, I'd say just go out there and experience everything.
Yeah.
And you don't have to feel obligated to do things you don't like, but at least have the experience.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah. I feel that, man. There's one thing I do want to say. Damn, I feel narcissistic bringing it back to me.
No, you're good.
Like, just for like a happy ending of how that piece of advice changed my life, of like just doing it, you know? So like after I got sent home from Shang-Chi, you know, you and I quarantine, tripod, just doing fight scenes all the time, like 24/7, like, and I learned how to shoot, edit, action design, all this stuff. For like a whole year, we were grinding that, you know? Most of the time, we didn't even have a cameraman, you know? And that made us have to learn so much because we were just doing it. And that hard work paid off because then a year later, maybe a year or so later, like I was brought on to Saint Seiya, or Knights of the Zodiac, that's going to come out later. And I really, I know this seems like I'm bragging, but I'm not trying to say this in a bragging way because I'm bringing it back to Andy Chang hired me on that, and he was Jackie Chan's stunt team member. And when I worked with him on Shang-Chi, dude, there were multiple coordinators. There's a lot of fight coordinators on Shang-Chi and action designers, but he was the one that I was so scared to work with because he yelled at me the most. Like, he was the hardest on me, you know? And his mind moves a million miles an hour, and I can never keep up with him. And I thought he hated me the whole time, but he actually didn't. He was just trying to get his job done, and didn't have time for this new kid that couldn't keep up, you know, because he's got the pressure of Marvel yelling at him if this kid can't keep up, you know? So I get it. I get it in hindsight now. But he was the one that was able to bring me back, and I was like, damn, he rehired me. And I felt like that was like redemption for me. That movie, I got to like redeem what I couldn't do the year prior. You know, and it all came, had I had just been able to just keep like complaining about the excuses for a whole year and that same call comes, I would have gotten sent home right away again. But because we put in all those hours of like just doing it, you know, I was able to pull through. And there was still so many new things that I got thrown in the deep end on that job. Like, I barely done any wires and had to do mostly wires and like just a bunch of stuff I never do. But I had the confidence to do that because of all those early mornings that you and I picked up the camera and put it on a freaking tripod and fake fought each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So thanks for doing that with me, man.
Thank you, bro.
That was like the reason why, you know? But yeah, I didn't want to bring it back to me, but I just wanted to say like why that piece of advice was so useful for me. And it doesn't need to be something crazy, you know? It doesn't have to be perfect. You and I, in this apartment right here, shot in here, most of the time, fight scenes.
It's not that big.
Like, at the end of the day, it's so easy to go on excuses, but we just did it. And yeah, it wasn't the best production value, all this and that, but we did it, and we learned by doing it. And it wasn't the best product all the time, but we did it and we grew from it. And had we never even taken that first step in the first place, we would not even be close to where we are at now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just wanted to bring it back to like why I feel I'm so passionate about that piece of advice.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, now we should finally end it. Did you want to say something? You wanted to say something else?
Okay. Yeah. I feel like if I say this, it'll go on too long.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we'll
save it for another one.
Yeah, let's write it down. Mm-hmm. Dang, man, I was kind of worried about like not having enough like to talk about, but I should have known because we can talk forever. Like literally, man. How do we close this out? Thanks for anyone who's made it this far. If you enjoyed it, I think I'm gonna upload this on pretty much all platforms. So give it a like or subscribe or do whatever you can if you enjoyed it. Just because when we're starting off, like,
should be that corner.
That corner. Okay,
yeah.
This corner.
Subscribe.
Like when we're starting off, we just want to get the ball rolling. So if you enjoyed it, please help us out if you want to. If you didn't enjoy it, then you don't have to. Do what you want. Shiblootoohoo.
Shiblootoohoo.
You're shiblootoohoo, so you can do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever you want to do because you're free.
Yeah. But I guess in the meantime, do you want to tell them like your social media and stuff?
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at @thereal_Devante Thomas. _Devante_Thomas. And yeah, we'll write it in the description so you guys can see it there too.
Yes, sir. And TikTok too, right?
And TikTok, oh yeah. Not as active on TikTok anymore, but you could find me on there too. Same thing at @thereal_Devante Thomas. No underscores, no spaces. And that's me.
Mm-hmm. And my Instagram is Brandon. Wait, is it that? Brandon H Lee _official. I don't know. I'm gonna put it in the description.
Description.
And then I have a TikTok that I used to use a lot, but don't really use it anymore. That was Barndon Reed. That was my former name, and so people actually thought my name was Barndon instead of Brandon, and I was like, no, it was just a silly username that I came up with when I was playing League of Legends in 8th grade. But yeah, thanks for watching. You guys give it a like, share, do whatever if you want to do it. You don't have to, because you're shiblootoohoo. If you have any questions or topics that you think would be fun for us to talk about, feel free to either comment or DM us or whatever. But yeah, how should we start closing these out?
We could just kick the camera, just like hook kick it, like just like.
Yeah, but what about the mics? Like the audio.
Oh yeah, like, true.
How do we say bye to each other in real life?
See you later, homie.
Hey, see you later, homie. I don't even know. We'll find out.
Yeah. We
just remember.
We could.
Yeah.
We could like say a quote. It's like a quote to remember.
Yeah. Okay.
You got this.
Everything's connected.
Ooh.
Because you can do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. Because shiblootoohoo.
Shiblootoohoo.
That's the end. That's the end. That's the end. Ho was the end. Yep. All right. Yep. We're calling it cut.
Ho. Cut. Over.